Hello and welcome back to Stationers. My name is Bigfoot. We're back playing our new Vulcan save overlooking the lava lake. Well, not quite. We're still a little bit a ways away. So in between episodes I've been a little bit busy. Printed out a few things. I called down the trader. The storm finally stopped. I went ahead and repaired our solar panels up there. He wants a couple of things. He wants some plastic sheets, some duct tape, coils, and a few filters. So go ahead and give that to him. We're gonna put a pump right here for our CO2. We're gonna go ahead and run a pipe out this way. I don't necessarily like blocking the windows, but it's not really much of a view on the side of the room anyways, so that's okay. Alright, let's go ahead and get all this stuff outside. We'll turn you off to save a little bit. So now what I think I'm going to have to do is empty a little bit of this guy into the room. And then I'm going to have to filter it and put it into the AC. Yes. Let's go ahead and take our last drink, just so that we're not puffing and puffing on the video. But the last one, it sure is. Go ahead and put that there. So this is the last of our water bottles. So we're gonna have to hook up our tank here soon. Might as well eat. And we can wait a little bit. Alright. Let's grab some air.
Air tank critical.
Empty our oxygen tank, and let's go. Okay, so we're gotta wait for this to get up to about 900 in order to make steel again. I've tried to make some steel in between episodes, but I missed the window, so it got too cold. Didn't quite reach the temperature, so that's unfortunate. I don't think the soy oil... Do I have water bottles in here? I don't remember buying them. Okay. So soy oil does not decay, so we can put that in the other room. That's fine. We don't need a refrigerator just yet, but would be nice to have one. Okay, we'll turn that off to save some power. Alright, so while we're waiting for our window, we don't have a whole lot of time here. Let's go place down some pipes. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to get a pipe. I could just disconnect you and then disconnect you over here. Use that as the filtration machine. I guess that would make the most sense. Disconnect you, and you. Yep. And then grab these guys. Come on. There we go. Now if I grab these, we'll put those there. We'll grab the nitrogen one. We are right about ready to hit our window here, so set that to in. Right, we're at 900. Past the 1 megapascal requirement for steel. Come on. There we go. Go ahead and turn that off. Grab our steel. Excellent. Alright, now we need some silicone to make a cardboard box. Go ahead and blow some of that colder air out. So much nice nitrogen in there that we're just dumping to the atmosphere, unfortunately. We'll work on reclamation of that later. Okay, and go ahead and take in. Come on, 900. 900k, let's go. There it is, green light. Alright, so I got silicon, now I can make more pipes. Okay, so let's go throw this guy in. Okay, so if we put that guy in there, that is hooked up to the room ventilation, so that will give us nitrogen. I don't think there's anything in there. There's no nitrogen in that room. Come here, tablet. Well, I guess there's a little bit. That's fine. That's great. Okay, so let's let that run, because it's not going to fill up with what little nitrogen we have in there. Oh, that's right. We emptied it from our other thing. What do I need? Silicon. Silicon and a cardboard box. Okay. Cardboard box. Alright, so the guy outside, he wanted plastic, he wanted coils, 2 CO2 filters, and 2 duct tapes. Okay. Alright, take 2 with the trader box, or take 2 with the transformer on. Alright, I have one in my hand, we're going to sell that, $145. Perfect. Now we could buy some liquids here, but it's not really necessary yet, and we don't have the infrastructure to deal with liquids with our pad at the moment, so you can just go on and get out of here. Go and get. Alright. I was going to use volatiles for this, but I think that would break the pipes, so we're going to use nitrogen. Now, we do have a giant tank of nitrogen in here. But using it is going to make the room very cold, which is not ideal. Right, so it is 30 degrees in here, and I think what I'm going to do is the jetpack is nitrogen. So we'll go ahead and let that gas out. No, I don't have a jetpack. That's okay. The other thing that we can do, go ahead and empty my waste tank, is we can utilize this guy. Now this is going to cool down the room. That's going to cool down the room by a lot. But it will give us some nitrogen for us to soak up. Making ice cubes over here. Okay, so that is now filtering, so we're minus 27 degrees in here. That is a little cold. Not going to be able to eat and drink in that environment. Hopefully that'll fill back up soon. However, what we can do is we can offset that with CO2 from us harvesting. Ooh, Cosmo Crop Connect. That's what we've been looking for. And I don't have to fiddle with the dials. Well, why don't we just call you on down then? Come on down. You are exactly what we want. Okay, now how are we doing in our air conditioner? We have way too much in our air conditioner. Deal with that problem in a minute. Hello. What do you have for me? You have ferns. Give me all your ferns. Thank you. Mushrooms. Potatoes are always a staple. Oh my goodness. Do you have wheat? Do you have switchgrass? Oh no, I have switchgrass. What do you have? Rice I don't care about. Soybeans. We're gonna buy soybeans. Corn is nice, but I think we're gonna skip corn. I could get potatoes. They're good to have on hand. I have switchgrass. Ooh, wheat. Definitely buying wheat. We can wait on all that. Those would be nice to have. Do I want pumpkins? Pumpkins do go pretty far.
Air tank low.
Yeah, they're kind of expensive for right now. Alright, no worries. Can't do anything with that. Can't do anything with that. Could make you one of those. That's okay. Thank you for the supplies. Alright, that is exciting. We have acquired our first batches of seeds. Okay. We did great. Leave all the seeds in here. Ferns will be for oxygen. Wheat and soy, will grow those to make bread, which gives you 4-star quality. Which is really, quite frankly, the best. We'll have the potatoes there just as some quick growing food. That really makes me happy. Excellent.
Air tank critical.
Okay, now we don't have a whole lot left in this guy. We're down to 2.69 megapascals. We do have this other tank over here. I'm hoping that we'll have all this stuff planted and going here in a minute. Okay, so let's deal with... Gonna need to figure out jetpack filler at this point. We need to connect this guy. There we go. Now we're gonna name this the CO2 pump. And then we'll just need to wire that in at some point. Could just go up and over that. That's not too bad. Okay. Now I need to deal with the excess nitrogen. Okay, I'm gonna need one of you. Let's grab some more pipe. We need that steel, we need that silicone back. I think that'll be good enough for now, and then let's grab a pressure regulator. So gold and copper. Now this guy would probably work just fine. Okay, so this guy would probably work just fine with the 2 megapascals of nitrogen in there, but it is a little bit much. So we're going to try and get some of it back out. We'll just ugly wire this guy back up. Okay, so let's set that to... Is that cold? How cold is that? It is a little cold. We'll do 8. 8 megapascals. Confirm. On. And pop you in there. The other thing that I need to do too is I need to empty out this line. What did that do to us? We're back at 2 megapascals. Okay, let's go ahead and get these guys set. So this one is going to be full heat. And then doing the AC in this configuration is going to basically have about 13, a little over 13 kilowatts of cooling power. Now you can run another set of these AC pairs in parallel with this, and that will give you another 13. Done at 1.5. That should be good enough, really. Yeah, go ahead and turn it off. That's good enough. Go ahead and disconnect that pipe. Should have pushed it into there, hopefully. Now let's grab you back. A wrench for this guy. Wrench you, wrench you. Okay, let's clean up our inventory, and then lastly, let's clean up a little bit of this wiring. Perfect. Now, before we head back inside, let us get... Come here. Get our filter set up, and then we gotta snake this back through.
Caution.
And one more. Boom. There we go. So now this is not contaminated with anything. You're fine, you're fine, you're pure. Excellent. Okay. Now I need to bring those filters back out here. Now if we start this up, this should become our hot side. Yep. It's heating up. You are the cold side. That's fine. Now we don't have any load on this. That's okay. But we don't want to be running these. Don't want to be running those during the day. The efficiency will drop way down, and then we'll be screwed. Okay. So let's do a little bit of organization. So you can go back in there. I need to run these pipes. You can stay in here. We need our filters back. You go there, please, thank you. Alright. Oxygen filter, oxygen filter. We're not ready to turn you on. You should be good. But let's not suck in daytime CO2. But you will work. Okay, now. We're gonna want to come up. Connect into you. I could put a small direct heat exchanger in here and work on cooling down the CO2 with that. Yeah, I might do that later. It's not necessary to do right now. Okay. Now let's work on the greenhouse. The one buy more seeds. Okay, so these are good bottles still, so I guess I could just put them here and here. Excellent. So this room is now very far from being good enough. Oof. Okay. Emptying the waste tank warms it up a little bit, but we're going to warm it up with the CO2 pump, I think. Do I want to run it straight down there, or do we run it over there? I guess over here would be fine. Down this way. What? I had an extra one? Blasphemy. Pump that in here. Hello, volume pump. Hello, volume pump. Hey, now you're working.
Hydration critical.
Now that's not going to be enough to heat up this room, but proof of concept. At least it's working. I don't know why it wasn't connected, even though it was connected. It's kind of weird. Okay. So let's get a chip. We have a chip. Let's get to do some programming then. Everybody's favorite. We'll alias the room sensor into D0. We'll alias the outside sensor into D1. Guess that should be fine for the moment. We'll add more stuff to that, but let's go here to yield. Now you don't have to use the pens. I mean, you could do direct devices, but eh. Then I have to go print a configuration cartridge and go hunt down the various things, and it's like, not worth it. Okay. We're not huffing and puffing just yet, but we will be soon, but that's okay. So load into R0 from the room sensor. We'll do the temperature. And we'll say if it's less than...
Hunger critical.
So if R0 is less than 303.15. Oh, this actually needs to be branch relative less than. If R0 is less than, we're gonna say like 30 degrees.
Air tank low.
Let's go 35 degrees. So if it's less than 35 degrees, I don't want the cooler on. That's got to be 308.15. And we're just gonna skip 2 lines. So we'll set the cool valve on 1, and then branch relative greater than into R0 if we are greater than 40. Let's go 48. Gives us a little bit of wiggle room there. So 321.15. We're going to turn off. Set the cool valve on 0. Now I probably have that backwards, but we'll take a look in a second after I can breathe again.
Air tank critical.
Okay. Grab this guy. We're at 4% food, we might as well eat as well. And since we froze our hab, we're going to have to eat in the vacuum of space.
Pressure critical. Oxygen critical. Temperature critical. Pressure critical.
I
Oxygen
guess the vacuum
critical.
of the airlock could be more accurate.
Critical.
There we go. Okay. Okay, so if this is less than 35C, branch if less than 35C, it's going to skip 2 lines. So 1, 2. This one, 48C, but if it's greater than then it's going to skip. So for 36C, it's not less than, it's going to go here. If we're 36C, it's not greater than. Skip 2 line. So 36C is not greater than that, so it's going to come down here. That's making my head hurt, so we'll just go ahead and say jump back to the start. Alias the cool valve onto D2. And we'll grab our chip. Export you. You for a moment. So you are the room
Hydration
sensor,
critical.
which we didn't name. Go. Pretty sure I named the other one the outside sensor. So you are the room sensor. You should be the outside sensor. You are the cool valve. Now, is the cool valve on? It is not. Because minus 26 is less than... Yeah. Anyway, seems to be working. What could possibly go wrong? Okay. Now, we all know I have a brown thumb, so I don't want to rely on manually turning on and off the air conditioning again. That did not work well on Venus. So yeah. Okay, so now we have that taken care of. So now we're going to load into R0 from the room sensor, and we're going to look at the ratio carbon dioxide. Okay, and then we're going to load into R1 from the room sensor, the pressure of the room. All right, now we're going to multiply into R0 the pressure times the ratio of carbon dioxide that we have. Then we're going to subtract into R0. What do we want the partial pressure in this room to be? We don't need a lot of CO2 in here, but it is our plant room, so I guess we'll say 20. 20 minus the setting, and then we can add some sort of a offset for our setting if we need it to work faster. CO2 pump, we gotta give it the setting and R0. 20 is the target partial pressure. Now we could define that up here. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's say CO2 partial pressure. We'll put that 20. That way we can change it a little bit easier, more dynamically. CO2 pp. There we go. Now I need to give it a CO2 pump. CO2 pump, and we'll put that on D3. That's not a screwdriver. Cool valve, CO2 pump. CO2 pump. What's wrong at line 20? Line 20, CO2 pump. Apparently I misspelled CO2 pump. Capitalization is important. Grab you, export you. Okay, you're happy. You're not on because you're over your target, so that's good. Okay. Now let's load into R0 from the room sensor, the ratio oxygen in the room. And then we're going to set Oxygen filter on R0. Now we could control the oxygen filter from the actual unit itself, and we may do that in the future, but for now we could just turn it on and off, which will actually help us save on power as well. So save oxygen filter on R0. Oh no, we have to do a comparison. Let's see. If oxygen is less than less than, no, I don't want it to be less than, I want it to be greater than. If it's greater than 40%, then we can go ahead and turn it on, because that'll remove some from the room. Yep, that's what we want. Okay, now we gotta make another pin. Just copy this guy and put you on D4. Confirm you, export you. You're not happy again. Put 2 filtration. Okay, you're happy again. You're not running, you're not over 40%. And we don't have any gas in there, so there's no need to turn that on at the moment. Okay, so you are being controlled. You don't want any more gas, so you're not turning on. Now I can come in here and manually turn the CO2 pump on and off if I need to, which I'm perfectly fine with. Okay. I think that is ready to rock and roll, so now we just need to go get some CO2. So the other thing that we're going to need is another large tank. Go ahead and make the large tank. No, hold off. A little expensive right now, and I'm not ready to collect the furnace gas. Okay. It's no longer nighttime, so now it's too hot to collect the CO2. Ooh, but that's what we could do. Hook that up. That's what we could do. Okay, so back to our programming. Now we're running out of pins. Can only do one more. Thankfully we only need one more device, I think. Say CO2 filter to D5. Okay, now let's see. We're gonna load into R0 from the outside sensor, the temperature, and if it's less than, R0 is less than, we'll go 401.15, which is which is 128C. So if it is less than 128C, which would be basically nighttime temperature, then we want to set the CO2 filter on R0. We spelled outside sensor. Oh, it's just outsense. It is just outsense. Okay.
Air tank low.
Good. Export you. You're mad again. CO2 filtration. Okay, now I am sure I have screwed something up somewhere in that mess, but so far everything appears to be working as needed. Last thing that we would want to do would be to add the air conditioners on here, but there's a few different things that we're going to need to check on the air filters. Or excuse me, the AC unit. We need to make sure that the inside, the gas on the cold side doesn't get too cold, because we don't want it to condense, we don't want it to blow the pipes. So we're going to load into R0. Or, you know what? I think we'll have the ACs have their own. I'll put a chip in the ACs. I think that'll be a little bit smarter. Okay, then it can just read its own inputs and outputs. I mean, I can do it here, but I would have to do it through device referencing. It would just be easier to do it as its own thing. So that's fine. Alright, so our greenhouse code is good. We don't need to worry about the ACs too much at the moment anyways, given that it is minus 20 degrees in here. So, on that note, let's go ahead and eat and drink. These are all 0. Okay, I'm gonna have to drink from here.
Temperature critical. Oxygen critical.
Minus 20, I guess, is still better than nil, right?
Temperature low.
Hopefully it doesn't cause me lung damage. Alright, a few in there. Boy's really getting around.
Air tank critical.
Let's grab our air tank. Up our waste tank. Right. Everything should be working as intended. You are not harvesting yet, so that's good. I can't see you. We didn't control the ACs. It's too cold for the cool valve to be on. It's not enough oxygen for the oxygen to be on. Perfect. Alright, so now looking at the number of trays we have 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, we have 10 trays. I need about 24 plants, normal plants, to cover my own breathing needs. So with the fern, it doubles that essentially. So I would need 12 pots for just my breathing needs. So if I make another 5, 2 rows of ferns plus 2, I'll have 3 pots to grow food in. That should be plenty. See if it's still hot enough to make some iron. It is no longer hot enough to make iron. Well, yes, it is. Iron is 800. It's not giving us a whole lot of wiggle room, but if we can at least get it over 800, we should be good. Get rid of some of the thermal mass. Alright, let's go. Putting it close. That is not going to make it. Nope. Darn. Which iron do I have laying around? 6. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Fail, that's unfortunate. This will be ready for tomorrow. So tomorrow we can get some more trays going. So let's lay out some pipage. Remind ourselves to do it. Yep. Now at nighttime, the CO2 should come on. I'm gonna want to wire that CO2 tank up so that we don't overpressure. Get some cables because only one is not going to cut it. The other thing I want to do is make a jetpack canister refiller thingy. Grab one of you. Need some insulated pipe. Okay, let's go wire that guy up. I'll need you. Alright, so we're gonna put down a jetpack refilling station. We're gonna use CO2 because it's non-toxic. Although it is hot, it should work great. Nitrogen is very useful. Much more useful than the CO2 is, so we're going to go ahead and empty our jetpack. Because we filled that with nitrogen. We're going to put down a pressure regulator here. Let's get some pipe and get a wrench.
Hunger caution.
Is there enough room there for that guy? Let's find out. Totally is. Okay, so you are a pressure regulator. Let's go with 7 megapascals. Oops, and we'll rename you jetpack regulator. Off, please. Thank you. Okay. Let me see the temperature. Come on. There it is. 126, so that should be bringing in CO2 now. Let's run outside and make sure. Turn you off to conserve on power. Not that it's really an issue right now. There's nothing in the room. Okay, so the CO2 tank, we need to hook you up. Okay, just plug you right on in here. Alright, now you guys, we need to temperature regulate you so that you don't freeze. So you guys will freeze the nitrogen in there. Let's rename you to CO2 tank. You already are. Perfect. Okay. Are you named oxygen tank? You are. You're not hooked up, but that's okay. I don't think I need you hooked up. Not right now, anyway. Would hook you up just to make sure that you are, but that's alright. Okay, so now let's go back to our code. Let's go right here. We'll say load into R1, and we're going to say the CO2 tank, and we're going to look at the pressure. Load batch named. Into R1 from the tank. Tank small insulated. Define. Tank. Okay. Now then we say tank, and this is going to be the CO2 tank, and we're going to load in the pressure. Right. Hash. CO2 tank. Logic type will be the pressure, and batch mode we would just say maximum. Okay, and then if the pressure is less than into R1, if the R1 is less than, say, 1 megapascal, so we'll just collect 1 megapascal of CO2, and then we're going to say and into R0 if R0 and R1 are good, then turn on the CO2 filter. Yep. Grab that. Export. Grab that. You should still be working. You are. Excellent. Let's go ahead and get some CO2 in our jetpack. We can go ahead and blow some into the room here. I'm gonna have to turn that off for a minute. It's not very quick. But it is slowly warming up the room and increasing the pressure, which is what we want. You've already heated up, so you've already gone ahead and turned off. Okay. Empty our waste tank. Grab a little bit more oxygen.
Air tank critical.
See if we can smelt some iron. I still want to look at the traders to see if they have anything to sell so we can get some money. Or what they want to buy, I should say. There we go. We're over 800. On. Have the vent go the right direction. There we go. It's there. Green light, eject, turn off. Go ahead and remove some gas. Okay. Got our iron. So we're going to get some trays with that. Go ahead and call in our lander, or trader. There we go. Furnace is nice and reset now. Noisy. Hello. Alright, you're selling a bunch of drills and garbage, essentially. Ooh, you have water. For 200. The same as just buying a canister of it. What would you like from me, sir? Can't make any of that. Can't make any of that. Well, you're useless. Bye-bye. Okay, so... Six minutes before that resets. Get some trays, and what do I need for another icy chip? Gold, steel, electrum, solder. Solder, electrum. Steel, gold. Right, so we just ate another cereal bar. And let's go ahead and do a little bit more programming. So this one is going to be for the AC. Now nitrogen. Becomes a liquid at minus. Let's see, maximum liquid temperature is 83. That is showing me about 90. So 183K, 185. Let's say 185. Okay, so we're going to alias the other AC onto the first pin. Okay, so we're going to load into R0. We also need to alias cold AC, which is the DB. So our device is going to be cold AC, and we're going to say, I want to bring in the, is it temperature input? Air conditioner. The temperature on the input. Yeah, temperature input. Temperature input And if it is greater than, if R0 is greater than 185K, which is our maximum liquefaction point, could even just say 190. Give us a little bit of breathing room. If it's greater than that, then we can turn it on. But we also want to look at the outside sensor. We'll put that on the second pin. Yeah, load into R1 from the outside sensor. We're gonna load in the temperature of that guy, and as long as it is less than 128, so 401.15 again, as long as R1 is less than 401.15, then we want to turn that on. Yes. So we'll add those two together. So if both of those are true, then we set the cold AC mode to R0. Set the hot AC mode also to R0. Now we'll have to pay their idle cost for this to work, but that's okay. And then jump back to the start.
Air tank low.
Okay, I think that's good. Grab a little bit of air.
Air tank critical.
And by a little bit, I mean just a little bit. Put down our trays. Okay, so we have our 10, 12 trays that we'll use for ferns. That'll give me my oxygen to take care of my own oxygen. I will need a little bit of extra for making into fuel and whatnot. We can deal with that later. Then, but for now, those extra 3, we're going to grow some wheat. That'll give us bread with our soil. Eventually, we're also going to need to grow some soybeans to make more, to get more bread. Bread is easy to make, gives you 4 stars. The more stars you have down here in your vital screen, the more hydration you get when you drink. Makes your water go faster, or sorry, not faster, longer. And that's a good thing.
Temperature critical. Oxygen critical.
The switchgrass is only necessary using composting on Vulcan for nitrogen, which is a pretty precious commodity, so we will go into that route at some point. But the volatiles, the oxygen from the ferns will be turned into water. We have plenty of volatiles. Okay, so let's come out here and see if our little chippy guy here is gonna work. I need to grab you, put you in there. Turn you on. You are going to be the hot AC, which I need to name now. Hot AC. Cold AC. There we go. Hot AC is going to be back here in air conditioning somewhere. Hot AC, there we go. Outside sensor will be the outside sensor. Okay, both of you are off because the nitrogen is too cold. Yep, you are being commanded off, so okay. I guess that's working. Have to keep an eye on that and make sure that it actually turns on. Are you not on? You're not on because I forgot to turn on the chip. On, please. I think I'll go ahead and end this here. So basically we've programmed our greenhouse today, all the different machines, to basically handle the greenhouse. So what I'll do between episodes basically is finish harvesting some CO2. I'll pump it into the room to heat it back up, and hopefully next episode it'll be ready, or warm enough in here I should say, to plant the plants. Atmosphere in the room right now is a little low on oxygen, which is unfortunate. This tank is basically not giving me any more oxygen, or not enough anyway, so I'll just probably empty that into the room, and then we'll just be living on this guy. Since we're going to be starting to grow some plants, that won't be a problem, and we'll be able to just harvest it from the room. So we have the ability to pump CO2 in the room that the plants need to turn that into oxygen. We have the ability to remove the oxygen. We have our cooling. All of that is automated, so it should just be a matter of heating up the room and plugging in some plants. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for joining me today, everybody.